Taurus, I have been feeling called to do this reading for you all week, and when I finally sat down with my deck today, the energy that came through was so intense, I actually had to take a moment to ground myself. You know how sometimes the universe just wants to have a conversation with you through the cards? This is one of those moments. I want you to know that whatever you have been going through lately, whatever situation has been weighing on your heart, the cards see you. They see your worth. They see what others failed to recognize. And honestly, what came through today made me realize just how much some people in your life have been blind to the absolute blessing you are. So I shuffled my deck with you, Taurus energy in mind, asking the cards to show me what you need to hear right now about being undervalued, about people not seeing your worth, and about this whole situation where you were treated like a threat when all you were trying to do was be a positive force in someone's life. The first card that practically jumped out of my deck was the Four of Swords, and I have to tell you, this card appearing first is so significant. Most people would expect to see something dramatic like the Tower or Eight of Swords when talking about conflict, but the Four of Swords is telling me that you have been in this space of forced rest, forced retreat, because the situation became so overwhelming that your soul just said enough. This card is showing me that you have been in recovery mode. Not just physical rest, but deep spiritual and emotional recovery from what you experienced. The Four of Swords represents this necessary pause you had to take when you realized that no matter how much love, support, and genuine care you offered, it was being misinterpreted, twisted, or flat out rejected. What I find so beautiful about this card appearing first is that it is not showing you as a victim. It is showing you as someone wise enough to step back and reassess. The figure in this card is in a state of peaceful contemplation, and that is exactly where you needed to be. You needed this time to process what happened and to understand that their inability to value you says absolutely nothing about your worth and everything about their own insecurities and limitations. The Four of Swords is also telling me that this period of withdrawal was divinely guided. Your higher self knew you needed to remove yourself from that toxic dynamic before it drained you completely. And I want you to know that this rest period, this time you have taken to heal and reflect, has been incredibly productive, even if it did not feel like it. You know what is interesting? The Four of Swords often appears when someone has been fighting battles that were never really theirs to fight. You were trying so hard to prove your value to people who had already made up their minds about you based on their own fears and projections. This card is your confirmation that stepping back was not giving up, it was choosing your peace over their chaos. I kept shuffling because I could feel there was more the cards wanted to share. And the next card that came through was the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Now this is fascinating because when I see this card reversed in your reading, it is not about you lacking the Queen of Pentacles qualities. It is showing me exactly how others perceived you incorrectly. The Queen of Pentacles reversed here represents how they saw your nurturing nature as manipulation, your generosity as having ulterior motives, your stability as being controlling. This card is revealing the complete distortion of your energy that was happening in their minds. They could not comprehend that someone could be genuinely caring and supportive without wanting something in return, because that is not how they operate. What breaks my heart about this card appearing is that it shows me you were offering them the purest Queen of Pentacles energy. You were being nurturing, supportive, grounding, practical in your love and care. But they were so used to conditional love, so accustomed to people having hidden agendas, that they could not recognize genuine care when it was right in front of them. The Queen of Pentacles reversed is also showing me that they projected their own shadow onto you. If they were manipulative in their relationships, they assumed you were too. If they had ulterior motives when they helped others, they could not believe you did not. This card is telling me that their reaction to you was never about who you actually are. It was about who they feared you might be based on their own behavioral patterns. And here's something the Queen of Pentacles reversed wants you to understand. Their inability to receive your Queen of Pentacles energy actually revealed their own wounds around worthiness. Deep down, they did not believe they deserved genuine love and support. So when you offered it freely, It triggered every insecurity they had about not being worthy of good things. This card is also highlighting something crucial. You were operating from a place of abundance and genuine care, but they were stuck in scarcity mindset. They could not understand that you could give without expecting something back because they never learned how to do that themselves. Your authentic Queen of Pentacles energy was like holding up a mirror to their own lack of genuine nurturing abilities, and instead of growing from that reflection, they chose to attack the mirror. The third card that came through was the Six of Swords, and this one made me actually pause and smile because it is such a perfect card for where you are right now. The Six of Swords is about moving away from turbulent waters toward calmer, more peaceful territory. This card is confirmation that you are in transit from that chaotic situation towards something much better. What I love about the Six of Swords appearing here is that it shows you are not just randomly floating away from the situation. You are being guided, almost like you have a wise captain steering your boat towards safer shores. This card represents the journey from conflict to peace, from confusion to clarity, from being undervalued to finding your tribe who actually sees your worth. The Six of Swords is telling me that this whole experience, as painful as it has been, was actually moving you toward people and situations that are much more aligned with who you really are. Sometimes the universe has to create uncomfortable situations to get us to leave places where we are not appreciated, so we can find places where we are truly valued. This card is also showing me that you are carrying forward the lessons from this experience, but you are leaving behind the pain. The Six of Swords represents taking the wisdom without carrying the wounds. You are learning to discern between people who can handle your level of care and authenticity and people who are threatened by it. And that discernment is going to serve you so well moving forward. I find it beautiful that the Six of Swords shows a figure being transported across water, because water represents emotions, and you are literally being carried across the emotional turbulence of this situation toward emotional stability and peace. The boat in this card is steady and sure, just like your inner knowing that guided you away from that toxicity. This card is also highlighting your resilience. The Six of Swords appears when someone has been through emotional storms but has not lost their core strength. You weathered what they put you through, and you are emerging with your integrity intact and your wisdom expanded. As I continued shuffling, asking for more clarity about how others perceived you versus who you really are, the Knight of Cups appeared, and I had to laugh because this card is so perfectly you, Taurus, even though it is a Cups card. The Knight of Cups represents someone who approaches life with an open heart, genuine emotions, and romantic idealism about how relationships should work. This card is showing me that you entered that situation with pure intentions. You were the Knight of Cups riding in with genuine care, emotional authenticity, and a sincere desire to create something beautiful with these people. Your heart was open, your intentions were clear, and you were operating from a place of emotional maturity and genuine love. But here is what the Knight of Cups is revealing about their perception of you. They saw your emotional openness as vulnerability they could exploit. They saw your genuine care as naivety. They saw your romantic idealism about relationships as weakness rather than strength. The Knight of Cups reversed would have been their projection of you, seeing you as someone who was emotionally manipulative or unrealistic, when in reality, you were just being authentically loving. What this card wants you to understand is that being the Knight of Cups in a world full of people operating from ego and fear makes you look like a threat. Your ability to love genuinely, to care without conditions, to approach relationships with an open heart, these are superpowers in a world where most people are guarded and calculating. They felt threatened by your emotional intelligence and authenticity. The Knight of Cups is also telling me that you brought a level of emotional depth and sincerity to that situation that they were simply not equipped to handle. It is like you were speaking a different language, the language of genuine love and care, and they only understood the language of transactions and power dynamics. Your Knight of Cups energy was too pure for their environment. This card is also showing me that you were willing to be vulnerable, to show up authentically, to invest emotionally in these connections, and that vulnerability was something they could not match. Instead of rising to meet your level of emotional authenticity, they chose to tear you down to their level of emotional immaturity. The fifth card that came through absolutely blew me away. It was the Hermit, and this card appearing here is so profound. The Hermit represents inner wisdom, spiritual guidance, and the ability to find answers within yourself when the outer world fails to understand you. This card is telling me that throughout this whole experience, you had access to inner wisdom that they completely lacked. The Hermit is showing me that while they were operating from ego, reactivity, and surface-level perceptions, you were connected to something deeper. You had inner guidance telling you how to navigate relationships with integrity, how to love authentically, how to support others genuinely. This inner wisdom made you appear mysterious and threatening to people who only operate from surface-level consciousness. What the Hermit wants you to understand is that your spiritual and emotional maturity was intimidating to them. They could sense that you had access to insights and wisdom that they did not possess, and instead of being curious about learning from you, they felt threatened by the depth of your understanding. This card is also revealing that you were often the person others came to for advice, for emotional support, for guidance through their problems. You were their hermit figure, the one holding the lantern to help them see through their darkness. But then, when you needed support, or when you tried to share your own truth, they turned on you because they were not capable of reciprocating that level of depth and wisdom. The Hermit is telling me that this whole experience has been deepening your connection to your inner wisdom. Every time they misunderstood you, every time they projected their shadows onto you, every time they failed to appreciate your value, you were forced to go deeper within and trust your own inner knowing over their external validation. This card is also showing me that you have been on a spiritual journey throughout this whole situation, even though it probably did not feel very spiritual at the time. The Hermit represents the soul's journey toward enlightenment, and part of that journey involves learning to trust your inner light, even when others cannot see it or choose not to acknowledge it. The sixth card that appeared was the Three of Pentacles reversed, and this card is showing me exactly what went wrong in that dynamic. The Three of Pentacles upright represents collaboration, teamwork, mutual respect, and everyone contributing their unique skills toward a common goal. Reversed, it shows the complete opposite of what was happening. The Three of Pentacles reversed is revealing that there was no real collaboration or mutual respect in that situation. While you were trying to build something together, trying to contribute your skills and talents, trying to create something beautiful through teamwork, they were operating from competition, jealousy, and a desire to minimize your contributions. This card is showing me that you came into that situation ready to be a team player, ready to honor everyone's unique gifts and contributions, ready to build something greater than what any of you could create alone. But they saw your talents and abilities as threats rather than assets. They felt diminished by your capabilities rather than enhanced by them. What the Three of Pentacles reversed wants you to understand is that they were never really interested in true collaboration. They wanted followers, not partners. They wanted people who would make them look good without outshining them. Your authentic desire to contribute meaningfully and your natural talents were disruptive to their need to be the center of attention. This card is also showing me that there was probably a pattern where your ideas were dismissed, your contributions were minimized, or your achievements were downplayed. The Three of Pentacles reversed represents environments where collaboration is fake and people are more interested in protecting their egos than creating something beautiful together. The Three of Pentacles reversed is also highlighting that you were probably doing a lot of the actual work while others were taking credit or not pulling their weight. This card often appears when someone is carrying more than their fair share while others coast on their efforts. As I drew the seventh and what I felt would be the final card, I got the Nine of Cups, and I literally got chills because this card is telling me that everything you went through, all the ways you were undervalued and misunderstood, was leading you to this moment of emotional fulfillment and self-recognition. The Nine of Cups is often called the wish fulfillment card, but in your reading, it represents something even more beautiful. It represents you finally seeing your own worth clearly. This card is showing me that while they could not value you properly, you are learning to value yourself in ways that make their approval irrelevant. What I love about the Nine of Cups appearing here is that it shows you have been developing emotional independence. You are no longer seeking validation from people who were never capable of giving it. You are finding fulfillment from within, from your own recognition of your worth, from connections with people who actually appreciate you. The Nine of Cups is also telling me that you are entering a phase where you will attract people and situations that match your energy of self-love and self-appreciation. When you stop trying to convince people of your worth and start embodying it, you naturally draw in people who can see and celebrate your value. This card is showing me that all those moments when you felt unappreciated were actually pushing you toward a deeper appreciation of yourself. The Nine of Cups represents emotional satisfaction that comes from internal recognition rather than external validation. You are becoming your own source of emotional fulfillment. The Nine of Cups is also revealing that you are going to look back on this whole experience with gratitude because it taught you to trust your inner knowing about your own worth rather than depending on others to reflect your value back to you. This card represents emotional maturity and self-love that is unshakable. You know what is so beautiful about this spread? Every single card that came through was about your inner strength, your wisdom, your genuine heart, and your journey toward recognizing your own incredible value. Not one card showed you as a victim or suggested that their treatment of you was deserved in any way. The cards are making it crystal clear that you were operating from a place of authenticity, love, wisdom, and genuine care throughout this whole situation. Their inability to value that, their decision to see you as a threat rather than a blessing, their choice to attack rather than appreciate. None of that was about you. It was all about their own limitations, fears, and unhealed wounds. What strikes me most about this reading is how it shows that you were actually threatening to them precisely because you were being authentic and loving. In a world where most people wear masks and play games, your genuine heart was disruptive. In environments where people operate from ego and competition, your collaborative spirit was threatening. In situations where people are used to conditional love, your unconditional care was unsettling. The cards are telling me that you were like a bright light walking into spaces that had grown comfortable with dimness. Your authenticity highlighted their fakeness. Your emotional maturity showed their immaturity. Your genuine care revealed their selfishness. Your inner wisdom made their surface level thinking obvious. Of course they felt threatened, but here is what the cards want you to never forget. Being threatening to people who are operating from lower consciousness is actually a compliment. It means you are operating from a higher frequency. It means you are living from your heart rather than your ego. It means you are choosing love over fear, authenticity over performance, genuine connection over manipulation. The reason they could not value you properly is because they were not operating from a place where they could recognize genuine value. They were looking for people who would stroke their egos, not challenge them to grow. They wanted people who would make them comfortable, not inspire them to evolve. They were seeking followers, not authentic connections. You know what I keep feeling as I look at these cards? Relief. Like the universe is saying to you, thank goodness you are out of that situation. Thank goodness you followed your inner wisdom and removed yourself from that toxicity. Thank goodness you chose your peace over their chaos. Thank goodness you valued yourself enough to walk away from people who could not see your worth. The cards are also showing me that this experience has been preparing you for connections that will truly honor who you are. Every person who failed to value you was actually filtering themselves out of your life to make room for people who will celebrate you. Every situation where you were misunderstood was clearing space for environments where you will be genuinely appreciated. I want you to know that your Taurus energy, your steady love, your practical wisdom, your genuine care, your ability to create beauty and stability in relationships. These are not threats. These are gifts. These are blessings. These are exactly what the world needs more of. The right people, the people who are meant to be in your life, will see these qualities and feel grateful to know you. The cards are telling me that you are entering a phase where you will be surrounded by people who not only value you, but who actively celebrate you. People who see your caring nature and feel blessed by it rather than threatened. People who witness your wisdom and want to learn from it rather than diminish it. People who experience your love and feel honored by it rather than suspicious of it. This whole experience was not a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of their capacity to recognize worth, and their capacity was limited by their own wounds, fears, and unhealed trauma. You cannot make someone appreciate you if they are not operating from a place where they can appreciate genuine goodness. What the cards want you to remember is that being undervalued by the wrong people is not a tragedy. It is redirection. It is the universe protecting you from wasting your beautiful energy on people who could never reciprocate it properly. It is life steering you toward people and situations that are actually worthy of what you have to offer. The cards are also telling me that this experience has made you stronger, wiser, and more discerning. You now know what it feels like to be undervalued, so you will never settle for that again. You understand the difference between people who can handle your depth and people who are threatened by it. You can recognize genuine appreciation versus surface-level flattery. As I sit here looking at this spread, I feel so much love and admiration for your Taurus spirit. Your ability to love genuinely in a world full of conditional love. Your commitment to authenticity in environments that reward fakeness. Your willingness to be vulnerable with people who were not worthy of that vulnerability. Your capacity to keep your heart open even after being hurt. The cards want you to know that every moment you spent caring for people who could not properly value you was not wasted. It was you practicing love. It was you developing your capacity for genuine connection. It was you strengthening your ability to see the good in others. These are skills that will serve you beautifully with the right people, and those right people are coming. The Nine of Cups at the end of this reading is not just about you recognizing your own worth. It is also about you attracting people who recognize your worth too. It is about connections that feel easy and natural because they are based on mutual appreciation rather than you trying to prove your value to people who could never see it. I feel like the cards have one more message for you. They want you to trust that being seen as a threat by the wrong people means you are exactly who you are supposed to be. Your light is not supposed to be comfortable for everyone. Your authenticity is not supposed to be easy for everyone to handle. Your love is not supposed to be accessible to everyone. You are not meant to dim your light so that others feel comfortable. You are not meant to fake who you are so that others feel secure. You are not meant to love less authentically so that others do not feel threatened by your capacity for genuine connection. The cards are telling me to remind you that you are a blessing. You always were a blessing. Their inability to see that does not change the truth of who you are. You brought light to their darkness, love to their fear, authenticity to their facades, wisdom to their confusion. The fact that they could not receive these gifts properly is their loss, not yours. Keep being exactly who you are, beautiful Taurus. Keep loving authentically. Keep caring genuinely. Keep offering your wisdom. Keep creating stability and beauty wherever you go. The right people, the people who are meant to be in your life, will not see these qualities as threats. They will see them as the incredible blessings they truly are. The cards have spoken so clearly today, and their message is this: you were never the problem. You are the solution that they were not ready for. You are the blessing they could not appreciate. You are the light they could not handle. And that is perfectly okay, because you are exactly where you need to be, becoming exactly who you are meant to become. Trust your worth, trust your journey, and trust that everything you went through was preparing you for connections that will truly honor the incredible soul you are.